What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another video. It's that time of weekend where we come together, sit down, and take a look at the top 5 best covers hitting your store shelves on this new comic book Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. As always, we're going to take a look at the books from DC, Marvel, and Independence in that order. So when you walk into your local comic book shop on this new comic book day, you know exactly what you're looking for, so you can get in, get out, get home, and enjoy yourself some new comics. So without any further ado, let's get into it, see what our offering is. And as always, we're going to start here with DC this week. And first up at the number 5 spot from DC, we have this Dead Man #2 in this cover D by Mark Spears. And when you see this cover, your eye doesn't know exactly where to focus. You don't know what you're looking at, right? And that's exactly the point, I think. That's exactly what Mark was going for. It feels distorted, surreal, and completely unlike anything else you see on the shelf. You have the neon reds, the blues, the greens, and those purples shouldn't work together, but somehow they do. It gives Dead Man an almost supernatural glow that fits the character perfectly. Nothing distracts you. It's just Dead Man floating in an endless void, making the colors explode off the page. You can almost hear him. The open mouth, the clenched hands, the stretched body language makes this feel like pure agony and rage. Dead Man isn't calmly floating here. He's looking like he's about to be ripped apart from another dimension, and that's a fascinating visual for this character that's already caught between life and death. You got no background, no supporting cast, no effects, just one unforgettable image that lets the artwork do all the talking. The overlapping colors almost create this 3D or cinematic effect on this image, making it feel like Dead Man isn't fully existing in our world. This could have been another standard superhero pose. Instead, it's weird, it's uncomfortable, and it's incredibly artistic. That's the kind of risk I love seeing. He's one of DC's strangest characters, and this cover embraces that instead of trying to make him look like every other superhero. Love it or hate it, this is the kind of cover you'll remember. It has its own identity, and that's becoming rarer and rarer in comics with all the variant covers, if we're being honest. This cover doesn't try to be pretty. It tries to make you feel something between the psychedelic colors, the raw emotion, and the surreal presentation, perfectly capturing the entire nature of Dead Man. It's bold, it's experimental, and it's exactly the kind of artistic swing I want to see from a character like this. So that's why I put this book at that number 5 spot this week. Coming in at number 4, we have this Batgirl 21, this cover B, Kyung-man variant. And not every Batgirl cover needs explosions or fight scenes, and this one slows everything down and lets the emotion do the heavy lifting. The way Batgirl is leaning against that statue of Medusa makes her look exhausted. She looks like someone who's been carrying the weight of Gotham on her shoulders for far too long. That's the first thing my eye went to. It's such a small detail, but it instantly adding mystery and emotion to this cover. Who wrote it? Who's it for? It gives the entire image another layer. She's laying against a crumbling stone face of Medusa that's screaming in agony. Whether it's meant to represent Gotham, trauma, or memories, it creates a powerful visual parallel with Batgirl herself. The bright gold backdrop, or yellow, whatever you want to call it, is an unexpected choice, but it works. It makes Batgirl's black costume stand out while adding an almost haunting warmth to the scene. The folds in the cape, the textures to the costume, and even the gold boots all feel incredibly realistic. You can tell a lot of care went into this piece. She doesn't look angry. She doesn't look defeated. She just looks tired. That's such a human emotion, and it immediately connects you with that character. You don't need action to understand something important has happened. The cover lets your imagination fill in the blanks. The composition, the symbolism, and the emotion make this feel like something you'd see hanging in a gallery. Cassandra Cain has always been resilient. This cover reminds you that resilience doesn't mean you never get worn down. It means you keep going. This cover succeeds because it's built on emotions instead of spectacle. The exhausted pose, the haunting statue, and the simple words, "forget me not," create an image that's incredibly moving. It's subtle, thoughtful, and one of those covers that gets better the longer you look at it. So that's why I put this at that number 4 spot this week. Coming in at number 3, we have this Poison Ivy 46 and another cover C, Kyung-man variant. Amon's killing it this week, and the second you see this, you can't look away. It feels less like a superhero comic and more like a dark fantasy painting. The way Poison Ivy is standing with her eyes closed makes her feel like she's ascending or being worshipped almost. It's beautiful. There is something deeply unsettling about it. These pale hands reaching through that cracked wall create one of the creepiest visuals I've seen on a comic cover this year. They almost look like roots clawing their way towards her. Everything on this cover is muted, the greens, the grays, so Ivy's bright red hair instantly becomes the centerpiece. It practically glows off the page. The hands fan out behind her like twisted angel wings. It's such a smart visual that makes Ivy feel both holy and horrifying at the same time. That crimson light shining down from above creates an almost religious image for this art piece here, but instead of feeling heavenly, it feels ominous. This isn't a Batman villain anymore. This feels like an ancient forest just waking up, right? And honestly, that's a perfect direction for Poison Ivy. The deep greens, the pale skin tones, the flashes of crimson create a haunting atmosphere that perfectly fits Ivy's character. She isn't throwing vines or attacking anyone. She's simply standing there, and somehow she feels more dangerous than she would maybe mid-fight, right? Everything on this cover is reinforcing who Ivy is. Nature, rebirth, beauty, horror, life, death. They're all wrapped into one unforgettable image here. This cover is absolutely stunning. It transforms Poison Ivy into something mythological, part goddess, part horror villain. The cracked wall, the ghostly hands, and the almost religious composition make this one of those covers that gets better the longer you look at it. So that's why I put this cover at the number 3 spot this week. Coming in at number 2, we have the final issue of Absolute Martian Manhunter, and that's issue 12, and this cover D Sebastian Furuyama variant. And the second you see this, you stop, right? It catches your attention, not because of action, but because you're trying to figure out what you're looking at. That's the sign of a great cover. John has always been about the mind as much as the muscle. This cover leans completely into his psychic abilities instead of just showing another superhero pose. That stream of color erupting from his head feels like thoughts, memories, emotions, and telepathy all pouring out of him at once. It's beautiful and unsettling at the same time. One man, one chair, one impossible visual. That's all it needs. There's nothing here that distracts from a central idea. The dark greens keep the image grounded while making the vibrant colors explode off the page. The contrast is incredible. He's slumped over with his head in his hands like he's carrying the weight of the universe. You can feel the mental exhaustion without a single word being uttered. Honestly, this looks like something you'd see hanging in a modern art gallery more than a comic shop. It's abstract, emotional, and it's open to interpretation. You don't know exactly what's happening, but you know it isn't good. The cover creates emotion before it creates understanding. No fists, no lasers, no explosions, just symbolism and incredible visual storytelling. That's what makes it unforgettable. It's bold enough to take a risk, and it completely pays off. This isn't just selling a comic, it's making a statement. This cover understands that Martian Manhunter has always been one of DC's most psychologically complex characters. And instead of focusing on his strength, it focuses on what's happening inside his mind, and the result is one of the most striking artistic covers of the year. It's haunting, it's beautiful, and it's impossibly unforgettable. So that's why I put it at the number 2 spot this week. And for me, coming in at number 1, we have Adventures of Superman, Book of L, number 10 in this cover B Lucio Perillo variant. And the second you see this cover, you know something is off. Superman isn't flying. He's smiling. He's sitting on what looks like an ice throne, staring straight at you like daggers through the heart. That crystal-like fortress behind him almost looks like he's become the king of a frozen kingdom. It's a powerful visual that instantly raises questions. That beam of light coming down from above frames Superman perfectly. It almost feels like judgment or destiny. Either way, it's epic, right? This might be one of the most intimidating Superman expressions I've ever seen in a long time. This might be one of the most intimidating Superman expressions I've seen in a long while. The glowing red eyes, the emotionless stare make him feel almost unstoppable. The icy blue and white surrounding him make that cape and S shield pop even more. Your eyes go exactly where they're supposed to. He's not attacking anyone. He's not even moving. He's just sitting there. And somehow that makes him feel even more dangerous. This is the kind of image that makes you immediately ask, what happened to Superman? That's exactly what a great cover should do. The fog, the frozen throne, the dark background, it all creates this sense that something monumental is about to happen. This isn't Clark Kent from Smallville. This feels like a god sitting on his throne, waiting for someone to challenge him. No punches, no explosions, just one incredibly powerful image that leaves you wanting answers. This cover is all about presence. It transforms Superman from Earth's greatest hero into something almost mythological or mystical. The icy throne, haunting lights, and cold expression create an unforgettable image that feels more like a fantasy epic than a superhero comic, and that's why I put it at the #1 spot this week from DC. All right, that's it for DC. Now we're going to move on into Marvel, and kicking us off at the #5 spot for Marvel, we have this Wade Wilson Deadpool #6 In-Hawk Lee Marvel Snap swimsuit variant featuring the one and only Gwenpool. And this is exactly the kind of cover that reminds you why Gwenpool can get away with almost anything. The pink tactical bikini, the pool floaties, the bubblegum colors, a toy-like blaster. On literally any other Marvel character, this would feel like a gimmick. On Gwenpool, it feels like a Tuesday, right? The soft pink baby blues, the bright whites make this immediately stand out on the shelf. Most Deadpool covers lean into black, reds, and blood. This one goes the exact opposite with Gwenpool, and that's why your eye is drawn to it. The grin is everything. This isn't a character trying to look intimidating. She knows she looks ridiculous, and she's loving every second of it. That's peak Gwenpool energy, right? The devil's in the detail on this cover. You got the duck sitting on the helmet, the inflatable pool ring, the little Daredevil logo on the belt, the water gun style blaster, and the crossed katana still strapped to her back, because every beach vacation Gwenpool goes on, you can't leave home without your katanas, right? Every detail rewards a second look. Even though this is a novelty costume, it's still unmistakably Gwenpool. The white and pink redesign is clear, the proportions work, and the costume feels like something Marvel Snap would actually create. The beach house, the palm trees, and the floating bubbles keep the focus exactly where it belongs. Nothing distracts from Gwenpool. This isn't trying to be epic. It isn't trying to be emotional. It's trying to make you laugh before you even open the book. And it succeeds, if I'm being honest. You know, I maybe wish they would even lean harder into the absurdity a little bit and have like Jeff the Land Shark popping out of the water and back and behind her, or something along those lines. But while Gwenpool is completely unbothered, the concept has room to get even crazier, in my opinion. So that's why I put this at that #5 spot this week from Marvel. Coming in #4, we stick with the swimsuits as we have the X-Men United In-Hawk Lee Marvel Snap swimsuit variant on our old friend Psylocke, right? And this is one of those covers that isn't trying to tell a story. It's trying to sell a character. And honestly, it does a really good job. The black outfit against the bright blue sky immediately grabs your attention. It's clean, modern, and the red sash gives a whole design a splash of color that keeps it from feeling flat. The blue water, the soft sky, the pink flower petals, the bright lights give this cover a fun vacation vibe. It fits a Marvel Snap aesthetic perfectly. Instead of another generic action pose, feels like a relaxed one, confident. Looking off to the side while casually holding the phone makes the character feel natural instead of posed. The headphones around her neck, the sunglasses on her head, the butterfly choker, and the phone all make the character feel like an actual person instead of just another superhero standing there. Nothing feels cluttered. Your eyes go straight to the character, then naturally move around the page. Sometimes simple is better. This is more of a fashion illustration than a comic cover. It doesn't tell me anything about the X-Men United book or hint of what's going on inside of it, but if you remove the logo, you would never even know it was an X-Men cover. So that's why I put this book at that #4 spot. Coming in #3, we have this beautiful Alex Ross Marvel Dimensions Virgin variant for Fantastic Four 13. And this cover is proof that sometimes less really is more, right? The way the light beam hits Silver Surfer and makes him look almost divine. Every reflection on this chrome body is painted beautifully, and it gives the whole image an eerie feeling. There's almost nothing on this page besides Surfer, a beam of light, and the stars, and it doesn't need anything else. The negative space actually makes him feel even more cosmic. The cool blues and the purples mixed with that warm orange reflection bouncing off of his body creates an incredible color balance. It's soft, elegant, and instantly grabs your attention. This isn't an action shot. It's almost ballet-like. The pose feels peaceful, graceful, and otherworldly, which perfectly captures who the Silver Surfer is. Painting chrome is one of the hardest things for an artist to pull off, and this absolutely nails it. Every muscle reflects light differently, making the surfer feel like living metal instead of just a silver-colored person. If I'm looking at it purely as a comic cover, I do wish there was just a little bit more storytelling going on with it, but it is beautiful. But it's more of a fine art piece and fine art narrative than it is a comic book. So you don't really get a sense of what the issue is about, but it is still just chef's kiss. So that's why I put it at the number 3 spot this week. Coming in at number 2, we have Challengers of Doom, Mr. Fantastic, and this 1 in 25 Lucio Perillo variant. And this cover does exactly what a Dr. Doom cover is supposed to do, right? It makes him feel larger than life. There's no distraction here, no supporting cast, no explosions, just Doom staring directly at you with his hand outreached like he's already won. That's confidence. That's Doom, baby. The foreshortened arm reaching toward the reader immediately pulls you into the image. It feels like Doom is about to unleash a blast or grab you by the throat. It's a simple trick, but it's incredibly effective. The crackling energy around the gauntlet creates the bright point of the page, naturally pulling your eye there before leading you right back to Doom's face. The warm oranges against the deep greens make everything pop. One thing artists sometimes miss in that Doom isn't just a villain, he's a king. The heavy green cloak, the gold chains, and perfectly rendered armor make him feel like a ruler instead of just another guy in a metal suit. You barely see any expression because of the mask, but the glowing red eyes communicate pure menace. Doom doesn't need to scream, he just needs to look at you. This is classic Dr. Doom in every sense of the word, but it's painted with modern detail as well. It feels timeless instead of nostalgic. The only thing holding this back is the background. It's mostly glowing energy, which works, but I would have loved to see Latveria, Castle Doom, or even Reed Richards reflected in the armor to reinforce the Challenges of Doom, Mr. Fantastic theme of the book. But with all that being said, that's why I put that at the number 2 spot this week, because you can still really get that canvasy feel on it, even on the front of a comic book. And coming at the number 1 spot from Marvel here, we got the Amazing Spider-Man 32 and this Lee Bermejo Amazing Visions variant. And this cover absolutely screams chaos. And honestly, that's what makes it work, right? The black symbiote suit against the sea of bright orange flames is impossible to ignore. The cover practically glows from across the comic shop. It's one of those books your eye immediately locks onto. The pose is classic Spider-Man. It's dynamic, low to the ground, mid-swing, and the foreshortening gives the cover a real sense of speed. It feels like he can barely escape what's happening behind him. Having Red Goblin perched on top of that flaming Goblin glider while launching burning pumpkin bombs at Spider-Man immediately tells you Spider-Man is in serious trouble. You don't even need to know who Red Goblin is. The visuals sell the danger on their own. Nothing on this cover feels static. Fireballs are flying everywhere. Smoke is filling the skyline. Spider-Man is moving toward the reader, and your eyes keep bouncing around the page. It has fantastic energy. The skyscrapers being swollen by flames make the battlefield feel huge. This isn't just a street fight. It feels like all of New York is burning. The glossy highlights reflecting the fire makes the symbiote suit look almost liquid. It's a simple touch. It gives the costume a ton of depth. My only knock on this cover is that there is a lot competing for your attention on this. Between the fireballs, the smoke, the cityscape, villains, Spider-Man, it borders on visual overload in a lot of ways. A little more breathing room could have made the composition even stronger, but still, with that being said, this is a fantastic cover, so that's why I made it at the number 1 spot for me for this week on Marvel Comics. All right, that's it for Marvel Comics this week. Now we're going to get into our indies, and kicking us off at the number 5 spot in our indie books this week, we have The Last Starfighter number 1 and this cover D Stephanie Hans variant. And this cover isn't loud. It doesn't need explosions or spaceships. Instead, it leans to mystery. And honestly, that's what makes this cover so effective for me. Using the silhouette to reveal that trailer park and the Starbright Trailer Court sign instantly tells you this is a story about someone ordinary who's about to become something extraordinary. That's visual storytelling done right. The pinks, the blues, and the stars feel huge and limitless. It creates that perfect contrast between small town life and infinite possibility of space. You can't fully see the character, and that's intentional. It makes you ask questions. Who is this? Why are they important? And that's exactly what a number one cover should do. The warm magentas blending into that cool blue makes this one of the prettiest covers of the week. It feels nostalgic without looking dated, almost like a classic 80s sci-fi movie poster. If you're a fan of The Last Starfighter, this immediately taps into what made that movie special. A regular person from a trailer park dreaming of something bigger. The cover gets that across without saying a single word. Your eyes start on the silhouette, move down to the trailer park sign, then drift into the galaxy behind him. It's clear, easy to read, and incredibly well balanced. My only criticism is that if you don't know The Last Starfighter, this cover might feel a little vague. There's no spaceships, no alien technology, and no immediate sci-fi hook beyond the cosmic background. It banks heavily on mood over spectacle. So that's why I put it at that number 5 spot this week. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dog Sitter number 1 in this cover B, Nicoletta Balderi variant. And this cover just makes you smile, right? In a week full of superheroes, monsters, and explosions, this one wins you over with pure charm. Before you even read the title, you know exactly what you're looking at. Something warm, funny, and wholesome. That's a great cover design. It immediately sets expectations for the story. The pug kissing the dog sitter is adorable, but the real MVP might be the cats. One is batting at the bubbles while the other just sits there judging everyone. Kind of like what cats do, right? I've never met a cat that I don't feel like is a judgy bitch. Those little touches give this cover so much personality. They aren't just decoration. They create movement across the page and give the whole scene that playful type of energy. Your eye naturally floats around the cover, taking in the little details. The oranges, the yellows, and the soft lights make this feel cozy and lived in. It looks like a place you'd actually want to spend time, which fits the tone perfectly. The kiss from the pug isn't just cute, it feels authentic. It captures that unconditional love every pet owner knows. That's the kind of emotional hook that makes someone pick up a number 1. The pet toys, the microphones, the plants, the cats, the bubbles, there's always something new to notice, but it's never feeling cluttered. Everything serves the scene in its own way. If I had one critique, it's that if you glance at it from across the comic shop, you might mistake it for a children's book. If there's more depth or drama inside, the cover doesn't hint at that. This cover completely understands its assignment. It's cute, colorful, inviting, and overflowing with personality. Not every comic cover has to be epic, something that, just automatically catches your attention. Sometimes making someone smile is more than enough to make you want to pick up that book. So that's why I put this book at that number 4 spot this week. Coming in at number 3, we have Spawn 377 in this Mirko cloak variant here. Now, this is how you make a Spawn cover, and this is how you make Spawn feel like a horror icon, right? That face is absolutely terrifying. The first thing you notice is those glowing green eyes staring straight through you. Spawn doesn't just look angry here, he looks demonic. It feels less like a superhero cover and more like a horror movie poster. The double exposure is brilliant. The castle burning inside Spawn's face is such a cool visual. It instantly makes you wonder what you're looking at. Is it hell? Is it his mind? Is it his soul? It's that kind of image that makes you stop and take a second look. The sickly greens mixed with the fiery oranges create an incredible contrast. It feels hot, dark, and supernatural all at once. Everything about it screams Hellspawn. There's no cape flying everywhere, no chains, no giant action scene, just Spawn's face dominating the page. Sometimes that's all you need when your character is visually iconic. Between the glowing embers floating across the cover, the cracking shadows, paint-like finish, everything feels gritty and alive. You almost feel the heat coming off the page. You lock onto the eyes, then the burning castle, and then the embers, and then back to the eyes again. It's a really smart composition that keeps pulling you deeper and deeper into the image. If I'm nitpicking, I would have liked just a little more definition around the silhouette. Some of the dark areas blend together a little bit, especially near the edges. It is moody, but sacrifices a tiny bit of readability because of it. So that's why I put that at the number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2, we have Transformers, the movie 40th Anniversary Edition, number 2. And this cover C 1 in 10 EJ Sue connecting variant. And as someone who grew up with this 86 movie, this cover hits that nostalgic button immediately. But it also stands on its own as a really strong piece of Transformers art. The second you look at it, your eyes go straight to Galvatron, right? Front and center, expression, cold. He looks every bit like the ruthless leader who could take over after Megatron. And that's exactly how he should present. Cyclonus and Scourge standing behind him instantly tell you these are the heavy hitters of the Decepticons. The composition establishes the pecking order without anyone saying a word. Having Unicron fill the background adds scale to the entire image. He's not overpowering the characters, but his presence reminds you that an even bigger threat is always hiding over every turn. The art stays incredibly faithful to the look of the original movie while still feeling crisp and modern. If you love the 86 film, this feels like an opening animation cell. The purples, the blues, the oranges are classic Transformers colors, and they contrast beautifully against the blackness of space. Everything is bright without feeling oversaturated. This isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. This is 3 iconic Decepticons standing in front of Unicron, and honestly, that's all it needs to be. Sometimes the strongest cover is just letting legendary characters look legendary. If I'm being critical, it's more of a character lineup than a storytelling cover. It doesn't tease a specific moment or conflict. It celebrates the visuals and the villains. That's awesome for fans, but it doesn't quite hit and cause as much intrigue as some of the other covers this week. This is pure nostalgia done right, okay? It respects the original animated designs, giving Galvatron the spotlight he deserves, and uses Unicron perfectly to create scale. If you grew up with the Transformers, the movie, this is one of those covers that's going to be very hard to leave on the shelf, so that's why I put it at that number 2 spot this week. And coming in at number 1, last but certainly not least, we have Red Sonja, She-Devil with a Sword, number 3, and this cover B Lucio Perillo variant. And oh my God, is it stunning! This is that classic fantasy cover art done at an incredibly high level, right? It doesn't reinvent Red Sonja by any means, but it does remind you why she's been iconic for decades. Everything about her posture screams confidence. One foot planted on her defeated enemy, holding up the severed head like it's just another day at work. You immediately know who's in control of the scene. You don't need to read the issue. Sonja won. The battlefield is hers. That's great cover storytelling. You know exactly what happened before you even open the book. The realistic painted style is incredible. The armor, fur cloak, skin tones, hair, and even the blood all have amazing texture. Every inch of this cover feels polished. Holding the severed orc head instead of simply standing over the body makes the victory feel earned. It's brutal without feeling over the top, and it reinforces Red Sonja's reputation as one of fantasy's fiercest warriors. The fiery oranges in the background contrast perfectly with the cool greens of the defeated enemy and Sonja's bright red hair. Your eyes immediately go to her face before taking in the rest of the scene. Honestly, this could hang on the wall of someone who doesn't even read comics. It would make a perfect poster. It has that Frank Frazetta-inspired sword and sorcery energy where the hero is larger than life. My only critique is that it is a very familiar Red Sonja image. If you've collected Red Sonja books for years, you've seen variations of this pose before. It's executed beautifully here, but it doesn't necessarily break new ground. But that's why I put this at the number 1 spot. All right, I invite you guys to make sure to check out my comic book review show this past Wednesday that I try to drop every Friday. It's where I take all the books that I picked up at my LCS this week and give you a more in-depth overview of them without spoiling them in case you want to pick them up yourself. But it does give you an idea of what I'm picking up, what I'm reading, and my thoughts on those books. So please make sure to check out this past Wednesday. It drops every Friday. And let's talk some comics, people, because what are we if we're not a community who's about the conversation? Am I right? But all right, that's going to do it for me for this week. Those are my top 5 covers for indies, Marvel, and DC. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought. Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree? What would you change? All that I want to know what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comment section below. And before you would leave, make sure to that like button, make sure to the subscribe button, and turn that notification bell on so you know whenever we drop a new video. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Remember to stay geeky, stay absolute, and we'll see you guys in the next video.